Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's talk about Scotty and Ulbrich, or Liesel. So, Scotty's plan is to use, because, Ulbrich was there talking about, about Nina and her relationship with Sonny. And she brings up the fact that, she has a thing for him still. And Scotty wants to use it in some sort of legal maneuver to get her out of jail. But Ulbrich, she doesn't want that to happen. She doesn't want, Nina to sit there and deal with Carly. And hell, at one point, Scotty was like, well, listen, she's going to be on the oath. And that's when Lisa was like, you're not going to sit there and force her to testify, to tell the truth, like force her to do something. And so at this point, Scott's like, alright, I'm not going to do that. But he is still going to sit there and try to find a way to use what happened in Nixon Falls between Nina and Sonny to, get Nina out of jail. Well, keep her from going to prison at this point. Which is, I know I sound like a broken record saying this, but really? I mean, she's going to go to jail because she wasn't being a good person? You know how many people you can throw in jail for not being a good person? He even walked up to Michael, Carly, and Sonny. And at that point, he seemed like he was about to blurt it, to Carly. But, Ulbrich kind of got him to stand down for a little bit. So, I guess we'll just wait and see when he's going to use it. Because at this point, I feel like that's probably going to be his only option to keep her from jail. Now, when Michael came to go see Carly, they talk about Brad and how he's still mad and upset that Brad got released. And then Sonny gets there, and they catch him up to speed on Brad just kind of showing up there with Selena. And Michael was like, nah, don't worry about it. I talked to Selena, and I made it very clear that I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect my family. And, Carly was like, yo, listen, I get that you're trying to do the right thing, but you make a move against her, she's going to retaliate, and Sonny's going to sit there and have to be thrown in, and it's going to be a mob war that doesn't need to happen. You need to kind of stand down on this one. And Michael is just like, no, I'm going to do it. He just has this attitude like, I'm going to do damn well whatever I please, pretty much. I don't know if their talk between Carly and Sonny kind of got through. Sonny was like, listen, I don't want you involved in this world. Let me take care of this. You don't need to sit there and get involved. And, Michael kind of just stopped talking, like he got cut off a little bit. But he still had that look of anger. So, I don't see him, backing down from this thing so far. There's this level of disrespect with Mrs. Wu. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know what the hell she was thinking about when she decided to have Brad show up at Carly's, at the Metro Court. I don't understand what she was thinking of. She was sitting there saying, oh, I have a arrangement with Sonny. I'm like, does that arrangement include bringing Brad there? Because I'm pretty sure that's not part of the arrangement. I'm 100% sure that's not part of the arrangement. So, yeah, there was definitely a level of disrespect on her part. But the difference is she has the experience and the power to back it up. But it should be interesting either way. Willow finally apologized to Brooklyn about coming at her sideways about the whole lie that Brooklyn told, because I'm like, come on, you you lied to Chase for months. You lied to him for months and was going behind his back doing the stuff you was doing. 1 second. With Michael. But you want to sit there and start trying to, throw stuff in her face like, are you kidding me? But I'm glad she did sit there and see the errors of ways. And, you know, more or less they kind of seem like they kind of buried it a little bit. And I say a little bit because it definitely seemed like it was a bit of flirting back and forth between Chase and Brooklyn. And if you saw the episode, you saw the looks on Willow's face every time they were going back and forth with each other. So I don't know what exactly is going on with her. I mean, she says she moved on and, you know, she's in love with Michael. But yet you're still sitting there giving them side eyes every time they flirted with each other back and forth. Now this whole thing, you know, was brought out really was because they were talking about Sasha losing a baby and it reminded of her losing her child, and Brooklyn kind of said something that I don't think that she really thought about before she said it, but she did apologize, and you know, she brought Chase out there to kind of comfort her in the cold. And at first I was like, why are you outside in the cold for? But she explained it and I was like, okay, that actually kind of makes sense. Now, Sonny, before he got to the Metro car, he was talking to Phyllis about, you know, Sasha and everything like that, and Nina comes in. They talk for a little bit, and then Sonny leaves, and, you know, Phyllis is like, so what's going on with you and Sonny? You know, like, what is your feelings like? And at first I was like, Phyllis, where are you going with this? Because it almost seemed like, you know, for a good minute, it almost seemed like she wanted her to tell Sonny how she felt. But that wasn't the case. She wanted her to recognize, you know, like to admit that she still has feelings for him, come to terms with it, and move on. But I guess Nina was like, there's no point, because nothing is going to change, you know, like, we're not going to be friends. Carly's still going to hate me, Sonny's still going to not like me, and my feelings are still going to be whatever. But I understood where Phyllis is coming from. Finally, this woman actually started to make some sort of sense. Kind of surprising seeing how back in Nixon Falls she knew that Sonny was married and still were just like, nah, you and Nina should totally, you know, get together. It's totally fine. But now, after meeting her, she's like, yeah, you know, I'm not telling you that you should do that. You should sit there and go after him. I wouldn't sit there and tell you that. Not like I did back then, but whatever. It took a while to actually get there, because I was like, Phyllis, where are you going with this? You should be kind of discouraging her to, like, keep those feelings down or just, like, whatever, but, you know, you really can't do that in reality, so. Cyrus. So, Laura comes to visit Cyrus in prison, and it's pretty much just like, yo, listen, I'm not scared of you. I'm going back home, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And she tells him about, you know, like, yo, I get that you try to, like, you know, kill us or whatever, but, you know, blah, 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 whatever. Here's the thing. Cyrus was acting like he didn't know what she was talking about. And he was like, yo, I didn't actually, I'm not the one that actually, you know, sent the hit out on you. And it made me think for a minute, like, what if Cyrus didn't actually do it? You know, the only thing that Laura got was from a phone call saying that there's an attempt on your life, and Cyrus is the one that's behind it. We got credible sources or whatever saying that Cyrus is, you know, trying to kill you. And she just went with it. And granted, it made sense to her. It made sense for her to jump to that conclusion to some extent. But at the same time, it was like, Cyrus is in jail for months. And now, out of nowhere, he's just going to start, you know what? Yeah, I really didn't like what my sister and my brother did to me, so kind of had some time to think about it, and yeah, now I'm gonna kill you. So it never really tracked with me in the first place. And you know, you find out later on that the woman that Laura was talking to, I guess the interim DA, was really working with Victor. Victor was the one that placed the fake hit out to smoke her out. I don't really understand what is his end game though. He said that, you know, she is a worthy adversary or worthy opponent, but I'm like, don't you have family that's like well too connected? Like, what was the plan? What was the game that you were planning on doing? And to be honest, it almost seemed like it was Like, I feel like Victor could do better than that. You know, just sending one measly assassin and, like, alright, well, I guess that ends that. Like, I'm wondering what is his endgame. Speaking of that, he's talking to Spencer, and he's willing to help him out on his, you know, legal charges and stuff like that, and even try to get him a room at the Metro Court. Which is odd, because the last time he wanted to try to get a room at the Metro Court, I'm pretty sure Carly was like, hell to the no on that, kick rocks. So, I don't really understand what Victor can actually do as far as getting him a room there. I don't really understand that. And, what is his angle? You know? Spencer was like, I want nothing to do with as far as the cast name, you know, as far as my father and stuff like that. I don't want any of his money, whatever. Because, you know, he wants to sit there and stand on his own principles. And, you know, Victor's like, you know, having virtue and being uncomfortable, you know, like, you don't have to be uncomfortable to sit there and stand on your own 2 feet, pretty much. So more or less, he's willing to accept help from Victor as far as getting him out of the legal jam that he's in, and also, you know, being put up at a 5-star hotel. Which is one of those things where he even said, he was like, doesn't that make me a hypocrite if I want to stand on my own 2 feet? But yet you're sitting there helping me with all this stuff, like as far as like my legal troubles and stuff. But then again, he was just like, well, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with that. So, I guess that talk with Trina didn't really last too long. Remember that talk? Yeah, me too. Oh, also, while Cyrus was in prison, you know, he was like, well, I didn't really sit there and try to kill you, and I would never sit there and I wouldn't do that now because, why is this so loud? Because apparently he found God now. And I'm not going to lie, the minute he said that he found a higher power, it was like, oh, okay. Alright, we're going with this angle. And, you know, Laura's laughing, and she's like, you know, she doesn't believe him, and, you know, which makes sense, because it's just like, alright, so now you just, you've been killing people for years, doing whatever the hell you wanted, and now you just found Jesus, and everything's okay. It's just that simple. You just ask for forgiveness. That's how that works, after killing millions of people, probably. Okay, sure. Now I'm kind of wondering, is he telling the truth? On that part. Yeah, we know as viewers that he's not the one that put out the hit on Martin and Laura. But is it true about him as far as, you know, giving up the life of crime and just, you know, finding God? Because, I'm going to be honest, I would kind of miss that a little bit. Like, you know, Cyrus is such a great villain. And we haven't had a great villain in a while. We really haven't. I would never count Nell as a great villain. Ever. And it's a shame, because it's one of those things that's like the show's been lacking for a very long time. I mean, you had Alcazar, which is still my favorite. Johnny's father, I can't remember what the hell his name is. You had Manny. To be fair, the guy who played Manny, he scares me in everything that he does. Everything that he does, he literally intimidates the living hell out of me. He just does. But yeah, the show's been lacking in the villain department for quite a while. So, you know, if it's true and Cyrus done, you know, decide to go good and everything like that, I'm like, come on. What are you doing? Well, what is Esme supposed to sit there and fill in for the great new villain? I mean, unless Ryan comes up, you know, comes out of his coma or whatever. What are you doing? Please tell me this is not what they're actually doing. I'm gonna just let it go on that note. But yeah, I don't know if I said this, but what does Victor want from Spencer? You know? Because I'm pretty sure he's not just doing this out of the kindness of his heart. I mean, we see how he is with Nicholas. So, what is he going to want in return? That's going to be the question. I feel like that's about it for the most part. I don't know. You know, every time I watch this show so far, like, don't get me wrong, it's been having some really amazing episodes with the whole Jason thing. This episode has some interesting moments. Had a lot of interesting moments. But let me ask people a question though. Besides the whole Jason and Drew trying to, you know, escape from Peter and all that other stuff, what was some of the really great episodes from this year? Like, episodes where you were just like, I had to sit there and watch every single moment. Like, when was the last time you felt when you just sat down and it was just like, from start to finish, this was an amazing episode? Because I'm going to be honest, I haven't had that feeling since, well, the whole Jason and Drew and Peter and that whole quest. And I'm missing that. I'm missing that feeling. You know when I get that feeling sometimes from? Days of Our Lives. And that's still something I'm sitting there trying to reconcile with. But anyway, with that being said, I didn't think this was a bad episode. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And just messing up the whole outro. I will see you in the next video.